it's kind of important to always be looking at like multiple lines because it's like I could play it this way or I could play it this way. And again, in dating, for example, it's the same thing when you're dealing with a girl. It's like I'm walking up and I'm approaching the girl and I'm getting her phone number, and then it's kind of like, well, what way do I want to play it at that point? Do I, if the interaction is going good, I don't have to just take her number and leave. You can go for a poll, or you can at least go for an instant date, which is kind of like, let's say I was in the mall and I see a girl and I walk up to her and I go, hey, you're super cute. You know, who are you? And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm Clarissa. Oh, hey, Clarissa, what's up? So what are you doing? Oh, I'm just shopping. And if I feel there's a good vibe, I don't have to like just take her number and then try to call her back later because it's the same objective. I'm still trying to get her on a date and I'm still trying to get sex. But if I'm dealing with a girl in the mall, for example, let's say like she is super busy and she's with all her friends and it's kind of awkward. It's kind of like, well, I have to get her number. Or I'm never going to see her again anyway. So I have to make the move and basically play like this line, for example. I would have to go in and tell Clarissa, you know, hey, you know, I see you're with your friends and I'm with my friends as well, but let's trade numbers, trade information, and then I'll call you later. I'll try to convince you to come out and have a drink. And I can play it that way. Or for example, let's say Clarissa is by herself and she just seems like she has a very fun, bubbly, flirty, friendly vibe. And I'm just like, well, what are you doing right now? She's like, oh, I don't know, I'm just shopping. What are you doing? She gives me a response like that. I can clearly see that I don't have to play this line. I don't have to just get her phone number. I can basically just say like, yeah, well, I was going to go over to the Starbucks right now. Do you want to grab a drink? You know, come join me, whatever. I'm going to go to the Jamba Juice and get a smoothie if you want to join me. We can just kick it for a little bit. So Clarissa says, okay, sure. Well, then it's kind of like playing a completely different line, right? Because I don't have to just go for her phone number. I can go for an instant date. I can go for a date right there on the spot and basically say, like, let's go to the Jamba Juice. And now all of a sudden we're sitting down at the Jamba Juice having a drink. And that's like a completely different way to play the game. And now since I'm already on a date, I didn't have to do it this way. I didn't have to say like, well, you're busy, I'm busy, let's trade information, then get her phone number and then wait, you know, later that day or wait till the next day and then call her, hey, what's up? I'm that guy Ryan from the mall. Do you want to go out and have a drink or whatever? That eliminates all of that bullshit and it goes straight to basically right there on the spot. Now we're having a drink at the Jamba Juice. And from there, the obvious next step is to get her back to my house to start the seduction, to get the sex. And that would be like, you know, we're having this drink and now it's like, so, yeah, so I was after this, I was going to go back to the house, you know, kick it, watch some TikTok videos or whatever, or listen to some music or whatever if you want to come hang out. And she says, sure. It's kind of like, okay, well, I'm already on the date. Now I'm getting her back to the house and basically going for what's called the pull, which means after the first interaction, then you go basically straight into isolation so that you can get the sex. I don't even know what the fuck is happening anymore. I was fucking drunk earlier. I had the spins and like, I don't know. What the fuck? What am I playing white? Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is basically get the queen out. So he's moved this here. What the fuck? You're already fucking up my game. I could pull this to here. Oh, you know what? We'll start here then. No, I have an idea. Okay, so you're now attacking this. Now I can't move my fucking queen out here because of this. This is stupid. I'm gonna come up here and attack you. You're trying to go here. So you could hit my queen. You know, if I just move this here, then you can't go there. Yeah, go away. Fucking pesky stupid knight. There. Let's attack you again. You have nothing. Let me just take you. This guy's fucking up my whole game. Anyway, I'm not hungover. I feel okay. I just feel disoriented because right now the time is midnight, midnight 18 and 24:18, and like I don't know what time I actually went to sleep because I woke up this morning and I worked on stuff. Oh, here, Queen is out and it's attacking here. He's also attacking here. The Queen controls all of these fucking spaces. Um, well, this is an interesting predicament because my fucking knight is going here, and if I actually brought the bishop here to check the king can't check back because he's covered by the knight, which means the king will have to move here. And the queen is kind of in limbo because if I go ahead and do that, see, there we go. That's interesting. But now I have this bishop here. It might have actually been more sensical, if that's a word, if I had put the fucking knight there, because then at least I could have took the rook. But again, like I said, I'm not completely coherent at this point. So can I make up something called a rewind? Which would be like putting this back and then putting the oh sweet. Ha! Now I'm taking the knight and checking the king and the rook, and we'll go ahead and take the rook. That's funny. Clearly, this is a lower rated player, which is definitely to my advantage. The queen again is still checking here. I want him to take my fucking. How can I play this different? I kind of want to play off of the fact that just basically watching the moves that this guy's made is he's kind of new to the game. I'm not sure. You take here, I take back. I can also take back here. I can take back here. If I'm thinking more like if I bring here, this attacks you here. You take back, I can take back here. Okay, so we're retreating. This is a good thing. Let's advance a little further, and then I'm thinking, oh, there it is. Okay, this is an interesting, again, predicament. I have this fucking pawn in the way. This is kind of annoying. I still have you here, which is a pain in the ass as well. I wonder if I can go ahead and just. The idea here is really to take the queen here, put it here, because then it can attack here and pop over this way. Also can hit this point, which you have no coverage on. So I think that is the plan. Anyway, I woke up earlier and I didn't even see what happened. What happened? I think he moved it. Well, I woke up earlier and I was drinking and I worked on my book for a little bit and then what did you do? You moved your knight back because you're now attacking my queen, that's not going to help you, bro. What kind of move is that? We're going to hit this and then we're going to hit this. I was working on my book for like a little bit, and I didn't do nothing either. What the hell was that move? Um, okay. Yeah, I worked on my book for like a little bit, and then I started drinking, and I was making like this kind of vlog, but I didn't really come out so well. And then like I said, I don't know how long that I was drinking, and I had the spins because I went through like the bottle of vodka is this big. It was already here when I picked it up, and basically I went from like here to like here, and there was like a little bit left. There's a left enough for like a drink or two left. Which would actually be kind of nice. But I think I'm going to take an Ambien and go back to bed because I feel like I must have slept a couple of hours, and I don't know. I feel good, but it kind of disoriented and stuff. It's quite interesting. Anyway, you know, it'd be funny if I took the bishop and put it here to check the king, and the queen can't really take back because it would be covered, and the king can't take back because it's covered. Mm, it's like a dickhead move, and it's kind of you just lost your queen, bro. What? Well, who would do that? That? What the fuck? Oh, 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 okay. Um. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and castle, and I'm going to make a safety move. What I like to do when I castle is I kind of like to move this other piece up because then it gives my king kind of like, I guess, an escape route, you might call it. See that? And that's a nice castle because now I have basically a front door and a back door, and I can kind of chill out for a little bit. Um, so if I move this piece up here and then attacks the king, and he can't take back because he's covered by this pawn and this pawn, that's kind of another dickhead move. He's also covered by the knight, which is that's also funny. So let's see. Why is your king way over on my side of the board? Like I kind of think of it as like this is, you know, black's territory, this is white's, and there's kind of a river in between. And if your king is like on past this point, you're like in my land. Hmm. So anyway, if I move the knight, by the way, I'm trying to use the arrow, so it's like I feel that this is interesting. If you guys are watching this video, then you can kind of see a little bit of what's going on in my head. Um, in my head, these arrows would be all different colors, and be this would have gone anyway. If I move the knight here, it's going to check his king, and he's going to have to either he can't move here because I'm covered by the pawn. He could go here, he could go here, or he could basically back it up. There's nothing for him to take the knight. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what he does here. Okay. You know, it's funny because if I put the pawn here, it's then covering this space. And if I move the knight here, then the king, he can't take back, which is kind of funny too, which then would open me up to like possibly move here and take his rook. That's a cool line. Or there's this option with my queen over here to go take his knight, because he has nothing again to take back. It's kind of important to always be looking at like multiple lines because it's like I could play it this way or I could play it this way. And again, in dating, for example, it's the same thing when you're dealing with a girl. It's like I'm walking up and I'm approaching the girl and I'm getting her phone number, and then it's kind of like, well, what way do I want to play it at that point? Do I, if the interaction is going good, I don't have to just take her number and leave. You can go for a poll, or you can at least go for an instant date, which is kind of like, let's say I was in the mall and I see a girl And I walk up to her and I go, "Hey, you're super cute. You know, who are you?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm Clarissa. Oh, hey, Clarissa, what's up? So what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just shopping." And if I feel there's a good vibe, I don't have to like just take her number and then try to call her back later because it's the same objective. I'm still trying to get her on a date and I'm still trying to get sex. But if I'm dealing with a girl in the mall, for example, let's say like she is super busy and she's with all her friends and it's kind of awkward. It's kind of like, well, I have to get her number. I'm never going to see her again anyway. So I have to make the move and basically play like this line, for example. I would have to go in and tell Clarissa, hey, I see you're with your friends and I'm with my friends as well, but let's trade numbers, trade information, and then I'll call you later. I'll try to convince you to come out and have a drink. And I can play it that way. Or for example, let's say Clarissa is by herself and she just seems like she has a very fun, bubbly, flirty, friendly vibe. And I'm just like, well, what are you doing right now? She's like, oh, I don't know, I'm just shopping. What are you doing? She gives me a response like that. I can clearly see that I don't have to play this line. I don't have to just get her phone number. I can basically just say like, yeah, well, I was going to go over to the Starbucks right now. Do you want to grab a drink? Come join me, whatever. I'm going to go to the Jamba Juice and get a smoothie if you want to join me. We can just kick it for a little bit. So Clarissa says, okay, sure. Well, then it's kind of like playing a completely different line, right? Because I don't have to just go for her phone number. I can go for an instant date. I can go for a date right there on the spot and basically say, like, let's go to the Jamba Juice. And now all of a sudden we're sitting down at the Jamba Juice having a drink. And that's like a completely different way to play the game. And now since I'm already on a date, I didn't have to do it this way. I didn't have to say like, well, you're busy, I'm busy, let's trade information, then get her phone number, and then wait, later that day or wait till the next day and then call her, hey, what's up? I'm that guy Ryan from the mall. Do you want to go out and have a drink or whatever? That eliminates all of that bullshit and it goes straight to basically right there on the spot. Now we're having a drink of the Jamba Juice. And from there, the obvious next step is to get her back to my house to start the seduction, to get the sex. And that would be like, we're having this drink and now it's like, so, yeah, so I was after this, I was gonna go back to the house, kick it, watch some TikTok videos or whatever, or listen to some music or whatever if you want to come hang out. And she says, sure. It's kind of like, okay, well, I'm already on the date. Now I'm getting her back to the house and basically going for what's called the pull, which means after the first interaction, then you go basically straight into isolation so that you can get the sex. Anyway, after all this, I've decided I'm gonna go here. He could move his knight. He moved his rook. That's a free knight for me, dude. Thank you. That was very. He moved his pawn. So what I'm going to do here basically here is take the bishop, which checks the king, but it also forks between the king and the rook. So even when he moves the king, I'm basically getting a bishop plus a rook right here on this move. So that's kind of funny. And he has no defense. So see that? Boom, boom. That's fantastic. I can now basically take this other pawn, which is going to check his king. His king is going to have to move in some other direction, which is also going to probably give me this other pawn right here. I think that's probably the best move. But let's go ahead and just explore another line, exactly kind of what I'm talking about here. So I could also go like this. Since his pawn is hanging, I could take him with the knight. That's fine too, but it doesn't really give me another tactical advantage. I could also basically start playing this here, and basically start trying to move my pawns up. This is multiple moves, but eventually that could get me another queen. So that's like a completely other line. Let's see. Ooh, what else could we do? We could move the rook and kind of trying to play it this way. Possibly come around this way to basically take this other pawn. The thing with pawns is like you have to get around to the side because right here, this pawn structure, they're connected. So I can't attack him here because he could always, if I was here, for example, he could always take back. So anyway, I think the best thing to do here is to just check the king like this. Mhm. I'm up by 31 points right now, which is kind of funny. So normally in chess, the purpose is to checkmate the opponent's king in the fastest, quickest, easiest amount of time possible, which I can do again. If I take the rook, it's going to check his king right here, and he's going to have to be moving off of this file right here. So that's a cool idea. Or I could take the queen, take this free pawn right here, which was also check the king. I'm going to go ahead and just move the rook. Let's see if he moves over here. He does. Okay, cool. So I have a queen. I can take either one of these pawns. I can also use this knight to take this pawn right here and then move over here, which is kind of, I think that's fine. If this pawn moves here, the queen can still take. This is a free pawn that's just hanging. Here's another pawn that's also hanging. If I move the rook up here, it would check the king. The king cannot take this pawn because it's covered by both of these pawns. If I move the rook here, he's going to move. If I move this here, I'm going to check him here. He's going to move here, or he's going to move here, or he's going to move here, or he's going to move here. Do I want him here? The king covers all of these spaces, right? So he can't move in any of these anyway. You know what? I'm already up by 32 points. And sometimes, I could just go for the checkmate with the king and the rook, which would be very easy to do. And it would be kind of like the equivalent of basically getting the girl on the Insta date, then getting her back to the house, and then getting the sex. But there is sometimes when it's like you feel so sure of yourself and you feel so good that you kind of want to put the extra moves. Is that the safest thing to do? Not really. But sometimes it is fun. Like sometimes it's fun for me to do the flashy moves. If you guys have seen like the move where I do the double high five with the double salsa spin when it's dealing with two girls, or if you're dealing with a girl and she smokes and you have her inhale and then you kiss her and you inhale the smoke and do a shotgun kiss close, I call it. It's like those fancy moves. I love that stuff. So you know what I'm going to do? I go like this. I'm covered right here. Oh, you really would attack my knight? If I take the knight here, it's going to check the king. See that? Right there. Sorry. If I take the knight right here, it will check the king. I don't like how these arrows go because it's like what I'm seeing in my head, first of all, is this, and I'm also seeing like, it doesn't have to be straight and over, right? It could be basically it's a diagonal and a straight, either way. So like, for example, you could come from here, you could be like a diagonal and straight, and see how it just automatically goes like that. In my head, it's like this. Or for example, the king, it doesn't have to be like this and straight over like this. See, it got this. In my head, it might be like over here and then this. Anyway. Well, let's see what he does. Now he checks. This is fun. Well, anyway. Oh, he's retreating now. I'm gonna take the free pawn. Alrighty then. Great. Let's go ahead and just move you up. It's in a pretty good spot. Let me just go ahead and hang out over there. I'm now up by 40. Oh, really? You're attacking my knight? So this pawn right here is now forking that pawn and that knight. So I don't want to lose my knight. He's going to take one piece. I don't have anything to cover him. So we'll go ahead and we'll just move you over here. He's going to probably take my fucking pawn. Why would you do that? I don't see any tactical advantage for that because now his pawn is blocked by my pawn and he has nowhere to go. I have no intention of moving this pawn. So, all right, well, I'm already up 41 points. I don't want to risk getting, I mean, I could sit around and try to get like more queens, but I think at this point we're doing quite well. I think we're going to go ahead and just basically checkmate his king. So let's see. I want to do this with finesse right here. So we'll come here. We're checking his king right here. He's moving. I'm going to basically take this queen and move it to right here because it's going to check him again. Right? Let's see what you got. I am now going to move this queen and move to here. It's going to check him again. Uh-oh. So, well, this queen basically covers these squares. So if I move here, it's going to check you here. And he technically could escape like this. We don't want to do that. If I move my rook here, it will then eliminate this line. And we don't want to stalemate it. So that still gives him basically adequate room. He can basically go here and he can go. Well, that's the only space really he can go if I do that. So I'll go ahead and just move this here. All right. So because my king is here, he controls all of these spaces. So the king cannot move in anywhere here. He cannot move here because the rook controls it. So he has this option to move here. That will give him one last move for the most part. So we're going to move this queen right here to check him here, and it's going to force him onto this square. Or I could leave the queen here and just move this queen here. It's the same exact thing. I'll just do this. He now has to move here. And, well, we're going to checkmate him, I think, with the rook. Because if I move the rook here, it checks the king. This guy will not be able to move any of these spaces because the king controls that. He cannot move here because he's checked by the king, because he's checked by the queen right there, and these two pawns are blocking this other space. So looks like it's all over for this guy. Okay. I didn't I didn't I did not I didn't see that. I didn't see that. That's funny. That's very funny. Fine, you get a freebie. You get a freebie. But anyway, the queen is controlling this space. The rook is controlling here. We are now controlling here. And it looks like the next best move is to take the queen right here, which will check him here, and he will have nowhere to go because the queen takes the space. This is what's called a ladder mate. It is all over for you. Rest in peace, bro. So that was fun. That was I hope that in kind of going through this video, I hope that makes sense in your mind. The purpose of here is not to kind of, well, I love showing off the chess skills because chess is a passion of mine. It's super fun. But the main point is these similarities between chess and dating, looking at basically different ways to play the game or the interaction that you're dealing with. So when you're dealing with a woman, there's a lot of different ways to play it. Anytime that you look, anytime that you're about to deal with a woman, if you're like, I just like to use reference, you're in a mall or a nightclub, a bar, wherever you're at, you're seeing a fucking grocery store, it doesn't matter. It's just like chess, you get to choose how do you want to open. For me, like I said, I like to first start playing by e4. I like to take basically e2 to e4, which is the king's pawn, and because that opens up the queen and the bishop on these lines. And generally, I would like to play what's called the wayward queen, which is like, d1 to h4, because basically, if he moves his pawn here, I can take it, and then it goes up and it takes the rook, and then this is I can take half of his army right here. It's a very good opener. It's very strong. That's the way that I like to play chess. Just like with women, I like to use the absolutely adorable opener, which is basically when I see a girl, I walk up and I say, hey, real quick, super random. I'm here with my friends, so I can't stay long, but I thought you were absolutely adorable, and I want to come meet you. My name's Ryan. But that's just one opener. I mean, I could use the island opener. I could walk up and say, hey, so real quick, can I ask you guys a female opinion? If you guys had your own island, what's the first thing that you would do on it, right? That's just like another opener, just like in chess. I don't have to play e4. I could fucking play over here. I could play, moving a2 to a3. And then trying to basically get out my rook and do, that's just a different type of way to play chess. Just like this, it's a different way to open or start a conversation with a woman. And then also when you're dealing with women, it's these different lines that you're dealing with. So you're like, hey, what's up? If she's giving you like lots of IOIs, indicators of interest, right? She's like, tucking her hair back behind her ear, and she's like, haha, laughing. And if she's touching you, or she's even giving you what's called an SOI, a statement of intent, which is, for example, you're like, you want to go get a drink? And she's like, yeah, let's go. And then she's like kind of giving you the eye contact, a moving her head, where she's basically saying, yes, I'm into you. Let's move this interaction forward. Anything like that, you don't have to just be like, okay, well, let me get your number, and then I got to go. You don't have to play the game like that. You could basically say, hey, well, all right, let's go get a drink. Hey, well, do you want to go hang out in my house? And she says, yeah. And sometimes a girl will just go with that. And other times you have to look at the situation and the circumstance and the event of what's going on, the scenario. And you're like, if she's there with her mom at the mall and like 3 of her friends and they're shopping and they seem like they're fucking rushed because they have to go, hey, what are you doing right now? Oh, yeah, we have this big event tonight. It's kind of like you're not going to invite her to leave her mom and her friends and go back to your house and hang out. It's just not going to happen. That's not the way that the game is going to play. So you kind of have to just be smart enough to look at what's going on and basically go, okay, like, how can I get this to work to my advantage? Okay, hey, she's super busy right now. She's with her mom and her friends. The best thing for me is to just take her number and then call her tomorrow after all of that bullshit is done, and I can get her on the phone by herself and then try to get her on a date and then try to get her back to my house. Again, just like in chess, the whole goal is to checkmate the king, which like I just did here. We could have done this way earlier if I had played the game a little different, but I think that the way that this game went was beautiful. I mean, we fucking smoked this guy, and it was fun. And it's just like, when you're dealing with a woman, sometimes it's like, yeah, she's giving you so many IOIs, so many SOIs. She's giving you just, I don't know, so much leeway. She's making it so easy for you that you can start doing the more flashy stuff and the more fun stuff. And I think that makes the interaction fun. It's better like that. Anyway, I hope that you learned a little bit. Next time you're dealing with a woman, try to keep in mind that there's all these different possibilities of what could be happening. There's different ways of how you could start a conversation, just like there's different ways you can open and begin a game in chess. There's different things that could be going on simultaneously. And also, here's another one, is, you don't have to play just one game of chess at a time. That's I think a big limiting belief for a lot of guys. They think that I can, once I'm talking to one girl, I can't talk to any other girls, and that's fucking bullshit. I can have this game open, but I can also have 100 other windows open playing all kinds of different games of chess. Or if you've ever seen, when a person walks in and plays chess with like 10 different people, you make a move, they make a move, you walk to the next board, you make a move, they make a move, and you go around the entire board, and you're basically playing multiple games of chess, just like you can be talking to multiple women. And at the end, you can basically beat everyone in the entire room if your chess game is good enough. And just like in pickup, you can fuck all of the girls if your game is tight enough. So you don't have to just deal with one girl at a time. You could be going out and talking to many girls at the same time. And depending on how it goes, you're working one and you end up closing her. You end up fucking her. And it doesn't mean that you have to make her your girlfriend. You don't have to commit all of your time, attention, money, resources, power, etc. to that one girl. If your game is tight, you can go around and you can just fuck as many girls as you want. You can be basically playing as many chess matches or chess games or whatever as you want, just like you can be talking to and fucking as many girls as you want. So this is just the mentality that I'm trying to teach you. This is just different ways to play the game. And when I say the game, I mean the dating game, like the game of going out and approaching women, spitting that confidence, charisma, schmoozing. I could be a term you could use, but basically, anyway. Hopefully that all makes sense. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want more, definitely leave some comments in the box below. That's what I wanted to put out, is that a lot of people have specific dating questions, because as a dating coach, it's like every man or every woman, everybody. I don't care if you're gay, straight, like trans, like everybody has specific relationship questions that relate only to them, that are just maybe not going to necessarily relate to anybody else. If you want me to talk about a certain topic, subject, or whatever, then leave me some comments. And, I read every single comment that comes in. And if I see something and I'm like, oh, that's a good idea, I'd like to make a video on that, then I'll start making little 5-minute videos of, like, maybe some girl calls in and she says, hey, well, I would really like you to. The other day, actually, there was a girl on Instagram this is a great example, where she was like, well, I'm a woman who's over 30 and I have issues with fashion because I'm out of touch. She's older, she's 30. She doesn't know, like, what's cool and what's hip and how she should dress at 30 to attract the type of guy that she wants, who is about in that between, let's say, 20, 30 to 40 years old, kind of in that age bracket. How should she dress as a 30-year-old woman to attract those types of guys? She doesn't want to dress too young, for example. She's not like trying to attract high school guys, and she doesn't want to attract like 50 and 60 and 70-year-old guys. She wants a guy somewhere around her age. She wants to be cool and she wants to be attractive, but she doesn't know what to do. And she's so out of touch. She's not like, super savvy on social media. And right there, that's a 10, 15, maybe 20-minute video of me kind of going like this and going around, maybe looking. I'd like to use the webcam and make more videos like this, where I'm actually breaking down and saying, okay, here's an idea of what you can wear. Since you're in this age bracket, here are such and such ideas, and I can go on Google on the computer and basically kind of pick out some outfits, give her some ideas, and then also use some AI drawing technology to kind of basically take the clothes that I'm looking at and then put them on her theoretically, or at least like an AI model or something like that. And anyway, like that kind of leads to, I don't know, a whole bunch of basically custom tailored videos for specific questions, and I think that would be kind of cool. So anyway, that's something that I like to do in the future. So if you are thinking like, hey, I want to have an awesome idea for a video, you know, hey Brian, can you make a video on such and such? I might look at that and I might do that. And also, for example, if you guys have $100, that's going to be basically the new price. I think it's simple. And basically, you would just send $100 to my PayPal or to my Zelle, and you're like, "Hey Ryan, please make a video on such and such. Here's $100." And then I'll basically just get the payment, and I'm like, "Okay, well, this guy paid for this, so now I have to do that as my job." So maybe you'll say, "Hey, here's $100. Please make a video on how to pick up girls who are, you know, in a nightclub who are surrounded by their friends. How do I do that?" Or, "Hey Ryan, can you make a, everyone wants a cooking video, you know, hey Ryan, can you make a video teaching us how to make fettuccine alfredo? Here's $100." And it's like, once I'm paid for that, then it kind of turns it into a job for me. So it's like, oh, well, this guy paid $100, so now I have to make a cooking video of how to cook fettuccine alfredo. Also, that's going to help to buy the fettuccine and the alfredo, because that shit gets expensive. I can't sit around and just make all these cooking videos all the time. People are like, hey, make a video, cook some lobster, cook some this. It's like, bro, that costs a lot of money. Like, are you going to pay for the lobster? Are you going to pay for the butter? And are you going to pay for the time that it takes to like clean the kitchen and set up the camera? And, you know, the fact that I have to take off of work to make these videos, it's expensive, guys. So please donate to the channel, send money to the PayPal, or Zelle is just my phone number. You can do it anonymously if you want. Or if you're like, hey man, I really want you to make a video about this, just shoot me $100 and let me know what you want me to make the video on, and let's do it. Let's get it rolling. Anyway, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.